Good morning!
Morning! Good morning!
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Okay, pretend you're a movie producer and it's the late 90s. You want to make some money, you want to win some awards. What do? Yes! Well, first you hire one of the biggest stars in the game.
And the thought of doing a picture with Jim Carrey.
Alrighty then.
Then you take over an entire seaside town.
Because Seaside is a set.
And then you just stick cameras everywhere.
The camera positions should be like this and like this and like this.
Like literally everywhere.
Cameras are handheld inside baskets of fruit or briefcases. People walk around with them.
This is the meta-genius of The Truman Show, a movie about a show about a man who doesn't know he's being watched.
It's a bad time, okay? I'm way behind.
I'm onto something, Marlon. Something big.
To make it even more meta, the whole cast live the experience of their characters, sleeping in the on-set houses.
I thought it should be in a sort of holiday resort.
Armed with a mountain of backstory.
I don't like the look of that weather, son.
He wrote an enormous amount for all of us. For example, every time she slept with Truman, she'd get a bump in salary.
Come to bed.
Every time she would do a product placement that was successful, she'd get a bump in salary. So she was constantly wheeling and dealing.
We really ought to throw out that mower. Get one of those new elk rotaries.
But instead of revealing Truman's fishbowl experience through some boring camera work, Peter Weir and his team filmed it as a curated live feed.
Okay, that's 2 for 1. That's a good deal.
As if we're all viewers watching a reality TV show.
What a week it's been. I don't know about you. I was on pins and needles the entire time.
Now, this isn't the first time a director's mimicked fly-on-the-wall shots to inject us into a movie, whether through handheld action, POV shot, laptop webcam.
Mom already misses you.
But here, the paranoia of the camera work was scarily prophetic.
How quickly the real world caught up to this cynical, dark fantasy Andrew Niccol had 10 years ago.
And you're not a real foreperson. This is not a real case.
Keep in mind that when The Truman Show was written in the early 90s, reality TV wasn't really a thing. Sure, variations of the concept had been around since the 1950s, The Real World launched in 1992, but juggernauts like Survivor didn't take off until the early 2000s. So, at the time, The Truman Show was considered dystopian science fiction. In fact,
The script had been originally written and it was set in New York City. It was a very different tone.
so the original version of the script was a lot more dystopian and hopeless, more in line with movies like 1984 and V for Vendetta.
My turn.
But Weir wanted to bring it closer to our reality.
It had to be light where he had it dark.
No, you first, please. I'm not that anxious to get there.
I wanted to make it real.
And he did. The movie basically foreshadowed the worst parts of modern reality TV, and the way he did it was with cameras.
One of the biggest challenges, I think, for Peter was using those go-go views of Truman and views through pencil sharpeners, through compasses, through clocks or whatever else, through the car radio, as little clues to the audience that something was up in his world.
And suggestive camera work like these shots you're seeing right now, along with Jim Carrey's charismatic, paranoid optimism, is what makes The Truman Show so unique.
I like your pen. I was wondering that myself.
And this shouldn't be that surprising. Peter Weir has this uncanny ability to maximize an actor's talents through unobtrusive but intentional cinematography.
I stand upon my desk to remind myself that we must constantly look at things in a different way.
And he loves to empower his team. Like here, cinematographer Peter Bijou was given the freedom to be creative with lenses and perspectives. Jim Carrey was given the freedom to be himself.
We could put a scene in with you doing stuff in the mirror, and he got all excited about that. And the next time I came to see him, I think he'd written stuff out on the mirror, you know, in soap.
That one's for free.
And this led to some wickedly fun shots.
So I enjoyed playing with the frame as a result of what was interfering with the shot, as a result of it being concealed. And, you know, it enabled us to give the film a particular look. You know, there's practically no tracking shots. And there was a lot of zooms and a lot of static lenses. And some of the framing needed to be off, and occasionally we would make an awkward framing.
Wow!
As a result of not ideal camera placement.
Therefore, through only the camera work, Weir communicates Truman's lack of privacy, his lack of freedom, and how scary this is when the subject finds out.
You're having a nervous breakdown, that's what's happening.
You're part of this, aren't you?
But like any good reality TV show, the producers had a problem.
It kind of looked bad, but interesting.
They had to balance producing a world realistic enough to trick Truman.
Because on one hand, we're always trying to make our work look undetectable as an illusion.
A world good enough to show on TV.
The story wanted us to make something that looked a little bit heightened, a little stylized.
And a world that would make us, the audience, uneasy.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
And that was sort of a tone that we set for the film, which was to sort of create these images that looked as if there was a whole art department for this television show that was deciding what the night would look like, what the sunrise would look like, all the different phenomena visually that would be designed and slightly man-made.
Okay, he's making his turn onto Lancaster Square.
This balance was settled in the details, as everything was warped just a few percentage points off an established reality.
We sort of started from the concept that it was going to be photorealistic and that they were going to be credible images. But then, because of it being such an unusual world, there was a hyper-reality that Peter was really after.
Now, of course, when you think of hyper-reality, you think of Jim Carrey, his manic energy, his fun spirit.
Somebody help me!
But it also speaks to the brilliant meld of visual effects, production design, cinematography, and directing on display.
It wouldn't be completely realistic. It would be as if somebody designed it. And that idea had to come across in the visuals that we created for the film.
Look at that sunset, Truman. It's perfect.
Hyper-real in terms of the Truman Show would mean things like too much fill light, the color palette being too beautiful, too pastel, too perfect, the color of the ocean off the coast being this strange blue that would only happen at sunrise and sunset. It would mean that when we had a wide shot looking out to sea, we would arbitrarily chop off the last 5 miles of horizon so it looked like the sea was only a mile away.
There's a lot of cool things happening in The Truman Show. It's the best possible combination of Jim Carrey's comedic and dramatic talents. The script remains as relevant and scary as it was 25 years ago. Ed Harris was brought on literally 3 days before shooting.
I think it was a Friday or something I met him. We had to start shooting on a Monday or Tuesday.
You can't leave, Truman.
But all of this doesn't matter if it looks boring or if our suspension of disbelief is ruined. So whether it's a fisheye lens emulating a hidden camera, POV shots, a push-in to a product placement,
that is a beer.
cuts to viewers, or wide shots emphasizing his heightened paranoia, The Truman Show truly is the perfect type of meta.
There, perfect. That's our hero shot.
So you're an actress playing an actress who's playing a character in a reality TV show, basically.
Well, for me, there is no difference between a private life and a public life.
We've become bored with watching actors give us phony emotions.
I'm Jack, this is Seen It, and if I don't see ya...
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Thanks for watching.
It's all true. It's all real. Nothing here is fake. Nothing you see on this show is fake.